EMS World Expo is the largest EMS dedicated event in the world, and it's taking you places. And now we bring you Stories from Expo.
Hello everybody and welcome to the EMS Garage and the EMS World Podcast, Stories from Expo 2019. I'm Chris Montera and we're here in New Orleans. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like jazz, but it's okay. Don't go to Bourbon Street. It's really bad. So today I'm with Jenna Tuttle, and you did a really cool paper at the scientific symposium about pediatrics. So tell me a little bit about your research.
Yeah, so it's a retrospective analysis. We used data from ESO, so we used a national database. Nice. The database had about 252,000 patients in it.
Wow.
And we ended up with a sample size of about 553 patients.
Nice.
And so
statistically significant. That's good.
Yeah. And so what we were looking at is we wanted to see how pediatric patient age impacted endotracheal intubation success rates.
Nice. And so what did you guys find out?
So what we found out...
Or what was your hypothesis?
So just kind of my hypothesis was probably that the younger the patient, the less likely you were to be successful, just because of the physiological changes in the airway.
Sure.
And what we found is that when you compared age groups to, we used adolescents as a reference category. Okay. So we compared everybody to adolescents because they're most like adults.
Sure.
All
kids are just like little adults. I'm just teasing.
And so what we found was that neonates, when you compared neonate success rates to adolescent success rates, providers were 60% less likely to successfully intubate neonatal patients.
Wow. And then was there another break line at 5 or 10? Were there other break lines, or was that the only one?
That was it. Everybody else was, there was really no statistical significance in any of the other age groups aside from that neonatal age group.
Wow. And what was your p-value at that point?
It was 0.014.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense then. So when you looked at that, did you also look at the type of intubation equipment, or whether it was a straight blade or a curved blade, or the type of intubation tube used, or was there any other variables you could introduce into that system that would have predicted success or not?
Right. So what we did look at was we looked at how many attempts the providers took. We didn't have access to what type of equipment they used. I wish that we did, because that would have
been great.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. What we did look at was we looked at success, how many attempts it took them to be successful. And another one of our significant findings was that on the second attempt, providers were 73% less likely to be successful.
Oh,
so it dropped by 73% when you took a second attempt.
Were you able to see, was the data discrete enough where you could see that they had a different attempt by a different provider?
It was not, Unfortunately. That was one of the questions that somebody asked in the research presentation this morning. And again, that would be great for like a follow-up study as well.
But I would imagine that there probably aren't that many systems out of 500 patients where you would actually see, I mean, you may not even hit 30 at that point where you would have maybe seen that difference. It's very interesting. So what can we glean from this? What do you think we should be doing about that research?
One of the things that I think was a salient finding from that is that we should concentrate on the BLS management of these patients' airways. You know, clearly, after one attempt, we should probably abandon ALS management of an airway, and we should really just focus on, the basics of airway management for pediatrics. And that's what most of the literature shows also.
Right. I had a mentor tell me recently that all airway is important. It's just the adjunct you choose. Right. So, because I think you're right. Oftentimes you go, it's an advanced airway or whatever, but really just using bag valve mask and oral airway can tremendously change a patient's outcome. Because, and especially at that age, we're talking tiny stuff.
Yes.
And at what port of neonate does that they break off?
It was 28 days.
Oh, wow.
So 0 to 28 days.
Holy cow.
So tiny.
That's really tiny. So I can't imagine any of us being proficient unless you're work in a pediatric center where you would actually be
Right.
good at that. And so that's very interesting. Is there a way that we could, and this is weird, but could we practice on cats or something that has smaller anatomy? I mean, seriously, I don't
No.
know. I mean, in veterinarian medicine, maybe is that a way we could become more proficient, or should we just abandon it altogether?
You know, again, it's just totally my opinion,
Right.
but I just think, we should look at straight BLS management of those
Right.
patients and just, unless there is a problem with actually ventilating the patient, that you should focus all of your oxygenation efforts
Perfect.
within the BLS venue.
I think that's great advice. Although we don't give advice on the show, we just tell you to follow your local protocols. But I think as a provider too, I think that those are the patients that you're kind of already freaked out about anyway, and they're already
Right.
tough to manage, and you're pulling out hand heavy and doing all the stuff, and you've got to really think through those type of. I mean, especially that small. I mean, 28 days.
Just adds so much more to your cognitive load.
Yes.
So why not do something that is comfortable for everybody,
Just
and
yep,
that anybody on your team could do?
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well, Jenna, where can people find information about you or your research?
They can find information about me or my research at the Foundation for Pre-Hospital Medicine Research.
Nice.
David
David Page, look him up. Yeah.
That also, so at the PCRF as well, you can find my abstract there. My abstract is also published in this month's edition of EMS World.
Very nice.
So you can find information about it there.
Very cool. And are you going to go to a journal to publish as well?
I would really like to turn this into an article and publish that as well. Probably we'll look at maybe West Gym.
I was going to say something like Annals or something would be great, because I think it fits nicely into what a lot of emergency medicine physicians would be looking at for us in the field as medical directors. Jenna, thank you. Great research, amazing. You always bring it. You brought it last year. Why do you like research so much?
I have a passion to kind of change our practice. I want to have a lasting impact
Right.
on the pre-hospital arena, and
Very cool.
one of the ways that I feel like I do that best is by finding how we can best mold our practices to have the best outcomes for our patients.
Oh, it's laudable. Thank you. Thank you for doing that, because there are so many people like me that are out there that we would love to do it. It's like, how do you find time? Where do you do it? So thank you so much. And you can find more information on Jenna and her great research in this month's edition of EMS World. And you can always find more great stories from EMS World and the EMS World Expo right here on this channel. I'm Chris Montera. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.